at my 98 RS right here, and as you guys can see, the engine's out of it. And the reason the engine's out of it is because in my last couple videos I showed you guys, I got a number 4 cylinder, has low compression, so I pulled the engine out of it. I actually did it last weekend. Basically, while while I was getting ready to go out with my wife, I came out here real quick while she was in the shower, pulled the sucker in about an hour while she was in the shower. It was a real quick and easy affair because I had everything set up and I had everything lubed up with the anti-seize and stuff like that. So basically, what you're looking at here is my EJ20 right here from the 2005 WX that has that number 4 cylinder. It's bad. And then over here is a JDM 20. And basically, I'm getting a 207 for this car. Basically, that's the long-term plan, is to get a 207 engine for this car and eventually get a 6-speed swap in it in addition. That's what this car really needs, and that's what I want to do with this car. But before I do that, I actually realized that there's a couple things I need to do to get this JDM 207. First of all, the 207 and the 6-speed trans is going to cost probably about $6,500. So that might be a two-step process to gather all the funds for that. And what I also realized is that this actually fell in my lap earlier this week. So this is a JDM 2-liter motor from not an STI. This I got for 500 bucks, guys. And the guy actually had the receipt for about 950 bucks from a month ago. And he couldn't use it. He ended up having a different one and put it in his car, and they sold the car. So he had this basically JDM engine he's paid 1,000 bucks for that he was getting rid of. And I picked it up from him. So let's take a look at this because there's going to be a couple things. And what the game plan is here is I'm going to swap the short block from this JDM 2-liter engine in place of the short block that I had for my US domestic model 2-liter turbo motor. And that will take care of that number 4 cylinder and those piston rings. And then I'm going to use heads, probably the US domestic model heads, because I have to look into these heads on that. Since we're talking about that, take a look at what this engine is. Automatic transmission is what it came with. That's a flex plate. And then what you're looking at down here is a turbo up pipe manifold on this side and an up pipe manifold on this side. So if I step back, what you're looking at is twin turbo, probably a legacy with an automatic transmission. So a couple things about that. It's kind of cool actually to have the exhaust manifolds, OEM exhaust manifolds for a twin turbo setup, but it's nothing that I can use at this point at all. I'm going to use all of my exhaust manifolds for my US domestic model single turbo, and I'll swap those over to this short block. There's a bunch of other things you actually have to swap over in addition. I'll just kind of run over real fast. I believe the cam sensor is a little bit different. And so the cam pulley is different. So I'll swap that over from my US domestic model, this one, to the short block, I mean. I think the crank sensor is different. And so the main crank pulley, not this harmonic balancer pulley for the serpentine, but the main one for the timing belt, that's actually different. That's to swap out from US domestic model to this one. Basically a coolant crossover pipe. This is a pipe that basically allows a hot coolant that comes from this side of the head into this main chamber, and from this side of the head into this main chamber, then exit the engine and then go into the radiator. This crossover pipe is needs to be swapped over for the US model as an addition. This is a JDM one because it actually has this weird pipe right here, and the piping for the coolant is a little bit different on these JDM engines. And then there's a couple other things that are probably different. I already talked about the back right here. The exhaust manifolds will be swapped out. Of course, I'm not going to use a flex plate. I'll use my flywheel. And I'm going to do a little bit more research. I'm probably just going to use my US domestic model heads because those heads I actually had freshly reworked at the machine shop. New valve seals and valves and everything was set up on those heads, and they're pressure tested and they're really good. And I know that those heads will work just fine with my ECU, obviously. So pretty sure I'm going to swap short block with all my US domestic model stuff on this. That will get this engine back up and running for only 500 bucks, back in the car. And when I do that, I can work on this EJ207. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I got another way of making the money or getting the money together for this EJ207. And that is this other coupe I actually bought recently. It's in my shop. And I'm going to head over there right now. I'll show you guys. Before I do, actually, I'll run over here and show you guys. A couple of you guys, a bunch of you guys have actually hit me up and asked if I got any parts and if I can get you guys parts, and I can. I got a bunch of different parts I'm kind of collecting for first gens and second gens. That's basically the facelift models up there, and that's basically the pre-facelift stuff. A bunch of little stuff, door panels for coupes. I'm really only interested in coupes. Those are the rear quarters for coupes. So just like lower dash components for pre-facelift and facelift. GCs, all GCs only. What else I got down there? And then of course right here I got a gray dash, and I was planning on selling this gray dash. I actually have all the pieces now to basically mock up an entire gray interior. You know, I have the gray dash, I have the center pieces, I have the lower dash components, I have the center console all in gray, and I could basically mock that all up, take a nice picture of it, and kind of put that up for sale as one complete unit. That way, somebody wants to swap over their tan interior to gray interior, could just buy all the pieces at once and do that swap. But I think I'm going to keep this because I think I'm going to use it on the car I bought yesterday. So let's go ahead and check that car out right now. So yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear me okay. I have this little headset today. I figured that'd probably make it sound better for you guys, a little bit clearer resolution, because this thing has like sound canceling uh, technology or whatever in the microphone. So it's a little bit clearer. And oh shoot, I'm on the Wi-Fi, so hopefully it stays on when I go into the garage here. Okay. So what you're looking at there, guys, is a 97 Coupe. It's been repainted in this black pearl. It's not a great paint job. It's not a home job, but it's not a great paint job. But it's Arcadia green. It's Arcadia green, not Arcadia. It's Arcadia green. That's a rare color for these two-door coupes, guys. Is this green color? Take a close look at this, like radiator core support, and you can see how few scratches and how little dings are on this core support. This is the original core support color, original body color, and original condition of the core support. And then if you look under here, you can kind of see the original condition. The engine bays on these GCs are never painted with a clear coat. They always look this like a little faded color of the green of the body color. So that's actually the correct original kind of finish that the engine bay came in. And you can see how little the rust is here. This metal plate rusts a little bit because that's steel. That's different, and those are pretty common to rust. But as I pan around here, you guys can see the firewall and how clear and clean and how lack of rust there is on this green two-door coupe. And and what you're looking at is a 2.2 liter naturally aspirated engine, obviously. And this one actually has an automatic. I'll kind of show you the interior of it. So actually, let me back up so you guys can see the full thing. That's the black paint on this thing. It's a bit of a shame that they painted this thing black, especially when it's that green color. This green color is actually a pretty rare color for these two-door coupes, and you either love it or hate it. I think a lot of people aren't a big fan of the green. I love the green. I've always loved this green color. It's one of my favorite colors. I like the blue as well. This car for me though is not going to be a car that I'm keeping for myself. My 98 RS is my car. That's the car I want to get on the track with and do a bunch of different things with in my life and my hobbies and all my different career stuff. This car is just going to be a car to kind of restore and flip and make a little money to pay for my EJ207 and hopefully maybe a 6-speed trans as well. So the thing about this car is that it looks really bad on the outside because the paint is fucking horrible. This color, I don't know what they were thinking with this like pearl red flake in the black. It's horrible. And they didn't mask off the corners very well. They didn't take out the trim piece. So there's like this tape they got on the rubber. And, so the body looks like shit from the outside. It also comes with terrible wheels on it right there, just like stock steels. And then it's got the tan interior, faded dash a little bit, automatic transmission. Seats are from a Forester. I mean, it's a little bit of a hodgepodge of a car here. But the thing is this thing has so much potential because this car doesn't have any rust on it anywhere, and it doesn't have any damage on it anywhere. And the rocker panels on the bottom, when you look underneath this car, there's zero rust anywhere underneath it. And the rocker panels themselves, let me see if I can get underneath here and not just make this kind of ridiculous, but I don't know if I can do this. Nah, it's not going to work. I'm not going to get underneath it. But basically, the rocker panels underneath this thing don't have any damage. They don't even have any dents in them. These are the cleanest rocker panels of any Subaru GC I've ever seen. Like 4-door coupe, wagon, let alone being a 2-door coupe. And this engine bay is really, really, really good condition. Frankly, I would say this like core support is for having a car with 200,000 plus miles. I think it's 220,000 miles on the odometer on this car. This core support is just in really, really good condition. No scratches, nicks, or dents in it, which is fucking incredible. You never see a core support in that good condition. And then looking around the window trim here, window trim's not actually that bad. I've seen a lot worse on the rubber trim, especially on the window side. Right here, it's pulling out a little bit, which is really common. I think on my 98 RS, it's a lot worse actually. So that's the thing, guys. Like, as hideous as this car looks, and as bad as it needs a new paint job, and it's going to get a new paint job, I'm going to sell this car to pay for the EJ207. I don't know how deep I'm going to go into a restoration, or if I'm just going to flip it right now. That's kind of up in the air. I'm weighing all my options. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. But although this car kind of looks ghetto, I'll just say, with the wheels and the black paint job, if you throw some correct original wheels on this car, you get the car painted, and the body is actually in really good condition. There's a couple of dents here, but there's no dents in the rear quarters. And that's actually the most important part, is like the pillars and the rear quarters. Those are actually perfect condition. These fenders are actually easy to find. You can get the fenders from any other GC body car and put those on if you're going to paint it anyway. So don't worry about the fenders too much. And then, of course, the front bumper, you can get a new front bumper cover easily as well. As a matter of fact, if I keep this car and do a little restoration on it, that's the plan. I'm going to put an RS bumper on it. I'm going to put an Outback Sport or RS hood on it, and then I'll put the rear spoiler on as well, and then get it repainted with the original Arcata green. I'll show you guys what the engine code is for that green color, actually. That's also kind of interesting. 64C right there. That's the original color code for that green Arcata green color. So that's a new car, guys. That's what I've been up to this week. Basically picking up that JDM engine, picking up this car the other day. Actually got a flat tire in my Forester. Didn't know it until I was already cruising down the freeway a little bit. Pulled over. Looks like I damaged the tire a little bit. And of course, since it's an all-wheel drive car, you shouldn't really replace one of them. I'm going to replace two of them. But of course, I have some BF Goodrich Comp TAs on this car, and they stopped making the specific tread wall design that I have on my Comp TAs. So I had to special order them from Tire Rack or from America's Tire Company, and now it's going to be 5 days. So that was fun. That was another thing that happened this week. Okay, so here we are back in the back shop with the two engines. Right now, I'm going to swap over this JDM engine short block with all my components from the US domestic model, throw it back in the car, get this car back on the road, because I don't want to have this car sitting without an engine in it and just kind of up on jack stands for weeks and weeks or months and months on end while I figure out this EJ207. I want to get this thing back on the road running for only $500. That way I'm good to go. And then I'll figure out the EJ207. I'll build the 207 on the side, figure out all the logistics on the 207, source it, pay for it, get it prepped, get it ready to go, and then pull the engine back out and put the 207 back in. Because believe it or not, it's not that hard to put these engines in and out of these cars. It's really quite easy. There's a lot more time and energy put in to figuring out what the right engine components are and sourcing the right engine from the right, distributor versus just pulling an engine out. I did that in an afternoon, and I've spent, 10 times as much time doing research on these 207s. So okay, that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot for joining the live stream. Thanks for checking out the Subaru Only channel. Check out my webpage at subaruonly.com. I got factory service manuals, I got factory technician guides, and I got a bunch of other stuff for Subarus on that website. So check it out, guys. I appreciate it. Take it easy. I hope a lot of you guys are out there doing okay. I know there's a lot of people without power and electricity right now and without water. Hope you guys are doing okay there in whatever regions of the country you guys are. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.